Hello and welcome back to the Slasher Siblings podcast. I'm your host Hayden and my co-host
Cicely. I'm back.
And this week we're doing It Chapter 1. Came out in 2017. It's rated R, 2 hours and 15 minutes. Got a 7.3 out of 10.
Way too low.
That's way too low. And for the people that don't know what it's about, in the summer of 1989, a group of bullied kids band together to destroy a shape-shifting monster, which disguises itself as a clown and preys on the children of Derry, their small Maine town. So, as you can tell, I talked Cicely into doing another clown movie.
Yeah.
So, we did it.
This one's way better.
So, before we get into the movie, we're going to read the answer to last week's question, which, Cicely, go ahead.
The question last week was, in what movie do the survivors use petri dishes with blood samples and a heated wire to determine which one of them is the host of an extraterrestrial creature? The answer was The Thing.
So, whenever the last episode comes out, rather, and you guys hear the question, we'll post it, and we'll give you a shout out on the Facebook page. Since we're 2 weeks ahead, technically, it'll be kind of confusing to keep up with the answers and who answers them, so we'll just post, who's the first one to answer it by the time the next episode comes out, because we're trying to keep ahead. That way, vacations happen or we get sick or whatever, we're staying ahead, and if one of us gets sick, we can just not record 1 week and then, just as a backup.
Do you want the next question?
No, at the end. We'll do it at the end.
So,
what do you want to say about this movie before? Because there's a lot of stuff to talk about.
I actually really like this movie. I wasn't a big fan of, Pennywise.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, probably in, the very first episode, if you remember, the intro episode,
yeah,
I said that I watched this when I was 3, and it scarred me for life.
Well, the original.
Well, the original, not this one, obviously, but I watched the original, and that fucked me up.
Probably the reason why you hate clowns.
Yes, absolutely. But then, when this movie came out, did we go see it together in theaters? Because I know I went with Dad. Did you go?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
I remember seeing this in theaters, and I was... Yeah, because we went to, Morgantown or something.
That sounds about right.
And I actually really liked it. Obviously, I was freaked out by it, but... I don't know. I like this one way better. This one's... Yeah, it's scary, but I can handle it. You know what I mean? It's not the Terrifier scary. And I think how funny the kids are in the movie really
Finn Wolfhard's character, Richie.
Yeah, he's funny as hell.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
And
Eddie,
he's
the one with the cat.
So funny. So I think that really balances it out.
Yeah.
I have a way easier time watching it because they just make me laugh. So I don't know. I've seen this movie 100 times.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Even though I'm I hate clowns, but I love this movie. So that's what I have to say about it. I don't know about you.
Okay, so why don't we start into talking about the scenes. So why don't we start off by talking about the opening. So what I mean is them making the boat, the basement scene. We'll just start off, I guess. That whole scene with making the boat that's a really cool scene because it's showing them of a reason why he was outside.
Yeah.
It didn't
by
just
himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was sick. Bill was sick.
Quote, quote, sick.
Yeah, and he wanted to float his boat down the storm drain, the storm river thing. But I really like that opening because it's not really preparing you quite. It makes you it kind of makes you flip. Oh, this is a nice scene. I mean, you know what it is, but if you didn't and you're watching this movie, you're oh, this is a really nice scene. It might be a really nice movie, and then all of a sudden it
kidding.
Yeah.
I really like that scene. I think that scene's really important because the original, I think that's one of the most iconic.
The boat.
Yes. I think it's
absolutely.
very yes, they had to start with that because that makes the whole movie.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And there's a cat in that scene, and I got so nervous the first time I watched it. I was no, don't kill that cat. I will leave right now. But the cat is fine, and I've seen this movie so many times, but every time I watch it, I'm like, whew, just
crisis averted.
Don't touch the cat.
I also want to talk about the basement where he goes down to get the whack.
Yeah.
He's like, there's all these people's faces behind him.
Yeah.
If you watch, it's like so weird because he's down in this dark basement, and of course, when you're a kid and you go into the basement alone, you see things.
Obviously.
All the time. Every kid does it, but like, it's just cool to see like all these faces just appearing behind him all over the place. Kind of makes it give you that creepy, eerie feeling, and then there's the eyes,
eyeballs.
the eyeballs.
That was definitely Pennywise.
Yeah, and for sure. And then when he flashes the light on the bottles, it's like that's pretty convenient that the bottles are just right where.
There. Yeah. And then he ran up the stairs. I was like, "That's me, bro."
I also want to talk about the love between Bill and Georgie.
So sweet.
You can definitely tell that Bill obviously cared about him.
Yeah. I mean, he just didn't feel like going outside. That's all.
He just didn't want to go out. That's it. Yeah.
Get it? Sucks. What happened to Georgie?
Hindsight's 20/20, but
that fucking sucks, but
it is what it is. I just feel like that there's a nice connection between the two of them.
For sure. And Georgie is so cute. Because
if they would have played off too much into the love, like he would have been outside doing everything his little brother told him to do and all that other stuff.
That would have been realistic.
This is more of a realistic approach, in my opinion, because you don't want to do every single thing your sibling wants you to do.
Obviously.
And him not wanting to go outside, and
I feel a little attacked right now. You mean you didn't want to play Barbies with me when I was little?
Not all the time.
You ripped their heads off.
Yeah. Okay. So, it was kind of more realistic to see Bill like making an excuse that he didn't have to go outside and watch the boat float down the river.
That's why I said I get it.
And this is a more, like I said about him, it's funny enough that he's the same kid in the lodge. How I was saying that was like one of the most realistic interpretations.
He plays a good brother.
Yeah, he plays a really good brother. And in this movie as well, it was really realistic type of love between the two. And then I want to talk about him sailing the boat down the river.
Okay.
So he puts it in the water, and it starts going down the little river thing. And you just think, like, oh, he's just, having fun. Smacks into the wooden thing. I forgot that.
Oh, like, horse thing.
Yeah. So he smacks into that, and all of a sudden the sailboat's gone. So it starts making you feel bad for Georgie. But then it goes into the next part I want to talk about in the opening of Pennywise being in the storm drain, which is extremely creepy.
Ugh, that ruined every single storm drain or any, those open things like on the ground, like, open
the grates.
Like, yes.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
I'm not walking over one. I'm not parking near one. I'm not doing anything near one.
The grates kind of make me think more to Ninja Turtles.
It's all Pennywise to me.
You remember in the Ninja Turtle movie when they ordered the pizza and they made it send it down the storm grate thing?
I love that, yeah.
That makes me think of Ninja Turtles, but the holes in the side of the curb? Pennywise. I keep feeling like I'm going to see his face in the storm drain.
Yeah, how do you think I feel?
But, I want to... So it makes you think, like, he's just having fun and he loses his boat, and then you see Pennywise's face, and then it turns bad real quick by him ripping his arm off. I don't know. This scene for me is very, very creepy, because he was like, oh, I'm Pennywise, the dancing clown. Now we're not strangers. And I was like, okay.
He says, my mom doesn't let me talk to strangers.
Yeah.
Pennywise? Georgie, Pennywise. See? No, we're not strangers.
That scene right there was just so...
And the dead look in his eyes.
Yeah. And he just like stops and stares at him and he's drooling and stuff.
Disgusting.
Gross. Bill Skarsgård did such an amazing job. He did such a
good job.
And that scene just, sets the tone for the rest of the movie of it being creepy. I also want to talk about when the title card rolls. So this is after the opening and it says It, Chapter 1 or whatever. It's coming out of the storm, the sewer, and it shows like the mountain and like the forest and all that stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
I feel like that's such a beautiful scenery, and it kind of like, I don't know, it like It releases that build up like scaredness
like
that
you just had the shit
you just
scared
watched
out of you.
Georgie get his arm ripped off and basically eaten, and then all of a sudden there's this beautiful scene.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of
okay.
it's a flip-flop of emotions really quick.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to talk about the sheep.
Okay.
Mike and the sheep.
Oh my god. Why do you want to talk about that?
That's such a rough scene. Like
I always cover my eyes.
So, I mean, I understand, that's how like
they make their living, whatever.
They make their living.
Yada,
that's how
yada.
Cows and sheep and chickens and all that get butchered in the farms.
Yeah,
we
don't have to get into it.
But like it's rough because the part that I'm talking about is rough is that Mike is like being forced to. Like I don't think
that'd be like forcing me to do it.
That would be like forcing you to do it.
Yeah.
I feel like if I had to, I could do it.
I could not.
But I would never in my life dream to be a farmer who butchers animals. I love animals. But if if it was between life or death, I could do it. I'd be fine.
I'd honestly,
you'd probably rather die.
I'd rather die.
I know you would. But if it meant me dying or killing a cow so I could eat it, that I could do that. But I'm not going to just go out, buy a cow, and be like, oh, in 3 months when he's a little bit fatter, I'm going to kill him and eat him. I'm like, no, that's a little rough.
That's rough.
So I feel for Mike in that scene.
I do too.
Saying like, I'm not my father. I can't do this. Like I understand. I get it.
I get you, Mike. 100%.
Now I want to talk about the school.
Okay.
Everything about them leaving the school and that whole scene, and I get that this is like a summertime movie, their summer vacation style movie, but everything about them being in school is completely realistic. So them coming out of class, leaving the class, talking shit to each other and everything, and making fun of the kid, he's gonna get the tip of his dick cut off and stuff like that. That's such a little, like a kid thing to do in school.
Especially like little boys.
Yeah, that's like such a realistic thing for them to do. And then there's the stall where Bev is in the stall smoking a cigarette and stuff.
Oh,
that's such an awful. What they do to her is awful.
Disgusting.
Absolutely.
I'd be kicking ass if I was her.
I know.
First of all, no one would do that to me because I'm nice to everybody. But second,
technically she's nice to everybody too. They just started rumors about her.
I would kick ass. That's fucking gross.
That's
dumping
disgusting.
Water in the garbage bag and then dumping on her.
Yeah, that's gross.
That's next level. That's
such like a junior high or middle school, however old they are, thing to do.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
The bully. That's what bullies did back then, and that goes right into the next one, where the boys and their bullies.
Yeah.
So like that's
I feel like the boy bully is a little more intense.
Oh, way more intense. But like that's such a realistic thing. The difference between, because like when girls are bullies, they attack like their looks and their features and calling them names and stuff like that. When boys are bullies, they get the shit beat out of them.
Yeah.
That is like the most realistic type of bullying that I've seen in a movie, because the girls are obviously different than the boys. And in a lot of movies, well, not a lot, in some movies, like when the girls are the bullies, they're the ones that are like beating the shit out of everybody in the school, which isn't all that realistic, because a girl like you don't go to like the boy bully and beat the shit out of him. You could, but if you weren't trained in martial arts at all, you wouldn't just go around thinking that you were able to beat the shit out of everyone. And those girls didn't think that either. They just picked on girls, and the boys picked on boys. That was like a realistic type of middle school, bully situation. I also want to talk about the new kid. I feel really bad for the new kid. At least that was like the last day of school before summer. But I felt really bad because he was scared to go home.
Yeah.
He wasn't sure where he was going to go, and then Bev came out and started being nice to him right away.
Which is like so cute.
Which is really good.
I eat that scene up.
It's really good that the new kid got sort of a relief from everyone being mean to him.
Yeah.
After just coming in from
He's so cute.
He had to leave a school that he probably had friends and stuff at to come to this new school and get picked on every day. That kind of sucks. I want to talk about the garage scene when Bill gets home and has the tubes, and he says, "Oh, Dad, look."
His dad kind of goes ballistic for...
A little bit. A little more than he deserved.
Yeah, I don't think it was that bad. No. Like, he built a fucking sewer system to try to figure out where his brother went.
So, two things. One, he says, put this away before your mom sees it. Why is his mom coming out to the garage? If that's his workshop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If the dad goes out there to work on stuff, why is she coming out there?
I don't know.
She has no reason to be out there if that's his workshop. And, Bill has this thing built in there, right?
Yeah.
Even if it was out there, tell the wife not to go out there, because I just make something up. Be like, oh, I have a lot of, I don't know, stain fumes in there, so don't go out there or something like that. You know what I mean? Bill, the second point I want to make here, Bill is grieving. Doesn't matter if it's been, 6 months or whatever. Mm-hmm. 6 months after losing your brother.
That's not that long.
That's not that long. But after losing your brother in a way that you probably could have helped him by just going outside. You know what I mean? Like, It just seems like everyone was, too harsh on him to move on past...
I agree.
Something that he blames himself for.
Yeah, I agree.
He blames himself for not going outside and playing with Georgie when he probably could have avoided all that. He could have told him, oh, it's fine, we'll just make a new boat or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel like
everyone is dogging on him too hard.
Exactly. And then there's the alleyway scene. Mike's delivering the sheep meat to the...
Oh my god.
And then he sees the car with the bullies in it.
Uh-huh.
He goes down the alleyway and he sees the people... The
reaching
hands,
out.
Yeah,
yep.
The burning people in the door, and the door slams open. That's like the first time we see Pennywise.
Yeah. Coming to the kids.
Coming to the kids, exactly. That Mike got the first glimpse of him, and that was such a scary way to.
That was awful. The first time I saw that,
Yeah, I get you. It's just such a terrible way to find out that you're being stalked by this creature thing.
Yeah. I think if I was him, I would have just literally died right there.
Yeah, and then he gets the crap beat out. Well, he gets a cigarette thrown at him, really.
Yeah.
And he says, "Get out of my town," or whatever.
Well, the guy coming out kind of saved him, so.
Yeah, but it was that's such a terrible scene for Mike. I feel bad for all the kids, really, which you're supposed to.
Yeah.
But Mike just had. Because, I mean, there are people still being racist at that time, and they didn't want the black kid in town, which, Poor Mike. That was a realistic part, and I feel bad for him because all he was doing was delivering meat. It's
probably like he doesn't even want to do it.
Yeah, he doesn't, but, what was he actually doing to your town other than delivering meat?
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel bad for Mike there, too. Okay, so then... The kids start to beat up the new kid, cut his stomach.
Cut his tummy.
And he's running away and everything, and they escape through, the sewers and stuff, and that kid dies.
Not Pennywise. When he's getting his stomach cut open, the car that drives by has a red balloon in it.
Yeah.
So I think he is present there.
But I'm getting to another point where he is present, too. After he gets his stomach cut open.
Then they run down to the woods, and he goes to the sewer.
That kid gets taken, one of the bullies.
Yes, the long-haired one.
The long-haired one. And then they go into the pharmacy, and they, steal the stuff.
Yeah.
To close him up. That painting behind him. You know what I'm talking about? I put it in the wrong spot. Anyway, the painting that was right behind him it had Pennywise in it.
Oh.
So while I'm a little bit ahead in the movie right now, but when they're covering up his cut, Pennywise's face is right next to his head.
Oh, so
in the whole scene. So Pennywise was there, present in that exact scene.
Huh, interesting.
That was kind of more of a fear fact more than something I wanted to talk about, which I accidentally put it in the wrong spot. But then there's the library. New kids in the library, and that creepy old lady's behind him.
That's awful. If you don't pay attention, or you probably have to watch it more than once, you can see the old lady just staring at him, smiling,
getting closer and closer every time.
So freaky.
It's so weird. And then whenever he sees the balloon and it pans back, the old lady is not even looking anymore. Like, she's off doing whatever she was doing. It was so weird, like, when I first found out that happens. Because I didn't know, no one really noticed it.
I didn't
there weren't
notice
too many people that noticed it the first time. Exactly. And for you to watch it again, and you know it's there, kind of creeps you out a little bit.
Yeah.
And then there's the Easter eggs and then the basement where the headless thing came running after him.
Ew, I hate watching people get chased, and when the thing started running, I was like, no, go.
It reminds me of like the Evil Dead 2 body, the dancing thing, and it was like it reminds me of that. It was gross. Okay, now's the sewer scene. He's getting beat up and carved into. And I think that the sewer scene is really, really creepy because the bully's chasing them through the sewer. And all those dead kids.
Yeah.
Oh, man. If I was down there and I did the whole lighter, spray paint thing, and all I saw was like 15...
Zombies.
Yeah, like 15 zombies staring at me.
And then he was stuck. That was so freaky.
I know. And they, like, basically ate him.
Yeah, disgusting.
And now's the pharmacy scene. Here's where I was talking about. I thought it was really funny and very creepy on the pharmacist side.
To be flirting with Beverly?
Obviously, she's like 13.
Creep.
He's such a creep.
But
he has the creep.
He's got the look.
Yeah.
But that scene makes me uncomfortable.
And I think it's funny that she knew.
She knew
that he would do it, so he like got distracted or whatever, so they could run out and fix the new kid. But like, that's such a creepy scene. It's so gross.
I mean, I understand. Men are easy, but it's disgusting. It's a little disturbing.
I want to talk about Beverly's house.
Okay.
So it's the normal, I feel bad for Beverly throughout this whole movie too, but it's the normal, the mom died and my dad started drinking type of house. Like, the house is destroyed basically. Like, there's crap everywhere, and like she's scared to go home, scared of her dad, stuff like that.
That breaks my heart.
I know.
Everything that happens between her and her dad just
is awful. Actually, we'll talk about them later, but a couple of the parents and the kids.
Oh yeah.
But that house is just such like a realistic look into like the mom passed away and the dad is an alcoholic now. Which I think that's like kind of like a sobering scene. No pun intended, but like because you're like you see all these scenes of being scared, and there's a little comedic relief, and then there's like this scene of like, wow, this actually happens like a lot
in real life.
Yeah. And then there's the swimming scene where they're all up on top of the cliff, gonna jump into the quarry in their gutchies. Yeah, I think it's really funny when Bev shows up and takes her dress off.
Like, wow.
Yeah, and this is like the first time that. Well, I mean, they're getting older and stuff, and this is like the first time they've seen a girl that's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it was really funny that when they're laying on the towel and then they're all just staring at her. I thought that was hilarious because when she looked, they all quickly looked away like they were all making up stuff to do.
I thought that was funny too.
And I want to talk about the house, the well house, and the leper.
Yeah.
So that would be Ed's fear.
Yes.
He's scared of lepers, I guess. That is a terrifying scene.
Honestly, if Pennywise would come to me, he'd either be the clown or that guy.
Yeah, either one.
I totally understood his fear.
That's like such a creepy thing to see. You're just walking and not knowing what's going on yet. He didn't have any idea yet.
Nothing, yeah.
And just to see a leper come running out of the house after you, like, oh, that's disgusting.
And then then Pennywise came in that same scene.
Yeah, he had all the balloons.
Yep. I would have shit my pants.
And then it's the bathroom scene after that with Bev in the bathroom, and she gets blood all over the bathroom like that, comes shooting out of the sink. So the dad didn't see it, but the kids could. Yep,
that's how you knew it was Pennywise.
Exactly. And, well, how could you not tell it was Pennywise when blood came shooting out the sink?
That's how you know the dad is not,
Yeah. Not only that, it also makes you think of like what her fear was. Her fear
was growing up.
Yes. And getting
her period.
Exactly.
Becoming a woman
because her dad exactly. That was her fear. And it kind of that's another sobering moment too. Like
it's an eye opener.
That's an eye opener too, because that also happens in real life. It's like
makes me sad.
There are, parents, either one, mom or dad, that abuse their kids.
Yeah.
As their kids, and screw them up to where they don't want to get older because they know their parents are going to get really mad and possibly kill them because they got too old.
Yeah.
And it's really, this movie like really fucks you up. It does have the good comedic relief, but man, one of the moments it needs to be serious, it really makes you think. That's one of them too.
It makes me feel so bad for her too. I just have to remind myself like it's a movie.
Yeah. And then I want to talk about the flooded basement.
That is the worst scene for me.
Okay, for me, not the worst, but it's up there. At least it's like the second worst. Like, that's such a creepy scene. You see Georgie in the water, and all of a sudden his like skin starts melting off, and then you see a clown running for you.
I would die. Like, the first time I saw that, I shit my pants. But every time I see that scene, it just has the same effect.
My worst scene is coming up towards the end of the movie.
That's the worst one for me. There's one in each one. Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. There's a scene in each one where I'm like, nope. Yeah. If that happened to me, I'm done. I'm toast. I'm absolutely toast.
And then there's the scene where they're cleaning the bathroom, cleaning the blood out of the bathroom. I think that's a really good scene to show, like, all the kids, like, coming together and being friends with one another. And
trying to, like, kind of conquer this thing they're dealing with.
And showing that, like, they're going to be there for each other.
Yeah.
When it really could. Because later, Richie and Bill get into a fight and everything. But what does Bill do when Bev's taken? Calls everybody. And what do? They show up.
Exactly.
So it really shows that the cleaning the bathroom was a really good sobering scene as well. Showing, like, these kids are really, best friends. Doesn't matter what happens between them. They're going to be there for each other. I want to talk about, right before the rock war, Mike sees Pennywise in the bushes eating the arm, and he waves the arm. I think that scene is creepy and hilarious at the same time.
I think, yes, equally.
If I was Mike, I would be enormously creeped out by seeing a clown eating an arm and waving a severed arm at me. But seeing it from a movie standpoint, that scene is hilarious because he just has this big grin and he's waving a severed arm at Mike. I think that's hilarious and creepy at the same time. Also, that's an awful scene because that's Georgie's arm.
Yeah, I know.
That's terrible. That's such an awful scene.
It's a little tiny arm.
And then it gets into the rock war. I really like this scene a lot because it's them protecting, the newest member of the group. And another kid that's been getting picked on from these group of assholes. And I feel like this is a good scene because of them throwing rocks at each other. I think it's hilarious when Richie gets hit in the head by the rock. He's like, rock war, and he gets smacked right in the face with it. I think it's hilarious. But I really like this scene because it kind of shows the triumph of them sticking together. And if they're together, all 7 of them are together, they can kill Pennywise.
Yeah.
They won the rock war because all of them fought together, kind of thing. It shows like
if they come together, they can do it.
Exactly. So then I want to talk about the scene where they are on their bikes in the middle of the road and they're kind of talking to each other and they're telling each other about their fears.
Yeah.
And they start explaining why they're scared of these things and that they see Pennywise. And Richie was like, he had the comedic relief moment where he's like, is this something only virgins can see? I thought that was a hilarious line, but funny. He was like, but then it got real serious after that. And he goes, well, what are you scared of, Richie? He goes, clowns.
Yeah.
He's like, well, you're screwed because he disguises himself majorly as a clown.
Yeah.
Because, in
when you think of Pennywise...
in Pennywise's mind, a clown
is the scariest thing, probably.
Yes, that, but also kids love clowns because they see them at like parties and stuff like that, making balloon animals and whatnot. I've always been kind of a little weary of clowns. I was like, I don't really care for clowns or anything. I wasn't like obsessed with clowns, like where I had to have it at a party or something like that.
No, but you probably weren't allowed because of me.
Maybe, but not that I would have wanted one anyway. But he probably thinks of it like, oh, if I disguise myself as a clown, I'll be able to get real close to kids, and I'll be maybe even be let into the house and stuff like that.
Easy to manipulate.
Manipulate as a clown. So Richie was just screwed from the beginning because of his greatest fear of being a clown. But I thought that was a real nice scene that they were like, yeah, this is my fear. I've been seeing him too. You're not crazy.
Yeah, this is when they all kind of realized what was going on.
Yeah, this is the first real thing of them saying, oh, we've got something weird happening. Yeah. Also, I want to talk about the garage and the projector.
Oh, God.
Where they're putting...
That scene's awful.
They're going through the pictures, and then you just see Pennywise's face start coming out, and then all of a sudden he comes out of the wall.
Yeah. That's the first time they all saw him together.
Yes. And it was also one of the creepiest times you see Pennywise.
Yeah.
Because he's coming out of the wall like that, giant.
Huge.
And he's huge, yeah.
I'd shit my pants.
And the new kid opened the garage door, real quick to get the sunlight in. But man, if they were any slower, they'd be dead.
Yeah, literally.
Real quick. But that's another thing where if they're all together, they can, stop him. I want to talk about the scene where they go racing to the well house trying to stop Bill, and he didn't stutter. You know which scene I'm talking about? They're standing outside the house, and he's giving the speech of, like, we have to do this. And Richie was like, wow. And they were all like, what? He goes, he didn't stutter once in that whole time. You can show... It
means business.
Exactly. It shows that not only is he serious about this, but it also shows that Bill and Richie were the first friends.
Yeah.
They were the longest set of friends in that whole group. And it kind of shows, like, how much Richie has grown to be his best friend and how much he loves Bill, to know that, like, he can hear it, but he doesn't make anything. Like, he picks on him sometimes. Yeah. That's what the friends do. But, like, he loves him enough to where he can notice and not notice at the same time.
Exactly.
Like, it's become such a normal thing to him hearing him stuttering that he just goes into normal conversation. But when he doesn't stutter, he knows that.
Yeah. I'm catching your drift.
I also want to talk about the well house. They're inside the house and they're like getting attacked by Pennywise.
Yeah. And they break Eddie's arm.
And they break Eddie's arm and
then snap it back into place.
Like, that's such a weird scene because there's like Richie finds the fake missing poster.
Yep.
And then
the room full of clowns.
Then there's the room full of clown
Richie
dolls.
In the coffin.
And then Eddie falls through the floor and snaps his arm. And then it goes into the room of clowns and he's stuck in there and Bill's trying to break him out. And there's Richie in the coffin and Pennywise chases him. Bill breaks open the door. Eddie's face pops out of the mattress.
That's disgusting.
That was gross. And then you go back out the door, and then there's the not scary at all, scary and very scary doors.
Yeah, that's funny.
And they obviously picked the not scary at all, and there was the cut in half girl. But like, that's such a weird scene because at every turn there's something scary happening.
I think that's like the main vessel of Pennywise. I think that's where he. Yeah. You know how, like, Stranger Things, like, Vecna has a house?
Yeah.
I think that's, like, the same.
Well,
same
down
vibe.
In the well, it connects to his sewer place. But, like, it's such, like, every corner there's something scary. Pennywise almost eating Eddie and then getting stabbed through the eye. And, when he came out of the fridge, that's entirely creepy.
Oh, my God. And he was, like, pretzeled up.
Yeah, that's
so gross.
That's gross. And then they finally run away,
That was just a high intense, like, it was a very intense scene.
Yeah, for sure. And then there's like them getting into the fight and all that other stuff. Bev gets taken though, and they're about to go down the well, and they throw the rope down, right? Well, I want to talk about that scene because Bill didn't hesitate. He just grabbed the rope and started climbing down.
Yep.
He didn't ask if someone else wanted to go or anything, and then of course Eddie wanted to go next because his arm's broken, so And if Bill went, it seemed like, well, Bill was obviously the leader. And it seemed like if Bill went, anybody could go.
Yeah, exactly.
So as long as as long as Bill was in front of everyone was following suit. So I really like that scene. But then we'll get to Bowers in a second, the bully. I want to talk about Georgie. So Georgie appears again, and Bill starts chasing Georgie. I think it's a really creepy scene when he finally catches up to Georgie.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know, it's just that scene where he switches from Georgie to Pennywise again.
Yeah.
He shoots him in the head because he knows he's not Georgie.
Yeah.
That scene is so weird. He's like shape-shifting back into Pennywise, and like his arms and legs shoot out.
Super gross.
That's such a weird scene. And then there's also, I wrote here the Loser Club. I like when they finally, call themselves the Loser Club.
I think it's cute.
Yeah. Because
real cute.
they're considered losers to everybody, so why not embrace it?
Exactly.
There's a line, I can't remember the exact quote, but in Game of Thrones, he was telling Jon Snow about being a bastard.
Uh-huh.
And he says, basically embrace it because everyone's gonna know that you're a bastard. So be a loser. Just embrace it.
Yeah.
I forget the exact line, but it was a really good line. Kind of fits this as well. I also want to talk about that final fight between Pennywise and everybody and the morphing into each of their fears.
Have you seen the outtake from that scene? Or the blooper where he's like, all right, is everyone ready to kick my ass? Have you ever seen that?
No, but that sounds hilarious.
It's so funny. I'll have to show it to you. We'll have to post it on Facebook because it's really
that sounds
funny.
pretty funny. But he's like morphing into everyone's fear. So he's morphing into the one kid's fear with the painting and the funky face girl.
Real shitty looking Mona Lisa.
Yeah, the flute girl. And then he switches into like a crab for Mike because Mike's scared of crabs and I think he switches back to Georgie at one point because Bill's fear is losing Georgie again.
And then he switches into Beverly's dad. And the mummy looking
and the mummy.
He actually switches into the mummy for the little chubby kid. He's scared of mummies.
Yeah.
Which you didn't really see that a lot until that scene.
If you read the book, you knew all their fears, so you knew what was coming, but it was also cool to see you saw everybody's fear in that moment.
Yeah.
So that's the movie I want to talk about. Here's a couple things, side notes I wanted to talk about. Ed's mom.
She's a nutball.
She's a nutball and such a manipulator. Thinking that he has all these diseases when he doesn't. Well, not diseases, I guess, but all these ailments, and he has to take all these pills and stuff. And it's like making him dependent on his mother.
Yeah.
When in reality, he's completely fine.
Yeah.
If you noticed, after he threw his inhaler, didn't have asthma the rest of the time. But he always thought he did. When he threw his pills, he was fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just so messed up that half of these kids are psychologically screwed up because of their parents.
And I think that's why Pennywise feeds on that group, because they're all kind of
already screwed up.
Weak links.
Because Bill lost Georgie, so he's obviously mentally impaired at this moment, and
they're all just.
And Henry's
weak.
Dad, the sheriff,
emotionally, exactly.
And he's screwed up. It turned him into a bully, and it kind of shows the different effects of mental illness that can happen to you. So the kids are being screwed up, but they're not letting it get to them, right? So they're going to be good people. In chapter 2, they become good people.
Yeah, exactly.
But Henry Bowers, his dad, screws him up royally, and he becomes a bully and wants to take it out on everybody. So it kind of shows you the different psychological effects that it can have. And then I want to talk about Bev's dad. He is such a messed up dude.
Yeah.
And I know that happens, all the time in life, but
why?
I'm glad. It made me really happy to see him get smacked over the head with the toilet cover.
Me too.
He deserved it in every way. Pedophiles and child molesters, they are number one on my hit list.
Yeah.
If I would ever see one, I promise you I'd shoot him in the face.
Oh my god.
I don't care. Those people are screwed up.
Yeah.
I don't care. They don't have any sympathy from me. You don't touch kids.
Period.
I don't care.
Or dogs.
I don't.
Period.
Yeah, you don't hurt animals either. But like, you don't. I don't care if you hate kids or you like kids. You don't hurt them.
Exactly.
Or do things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
I agree.
awful.
For sure.
So it just shows if you let it get to you or not. Bowers obviously let it get to him, while the kids didn't.
We didn't talk about the scene where he killed his dad. Did you get that?
That's coming up.
Okay.
So I want to talk about the worst scene in this movie for me.
Okay.
For me, it's Pennywise the dancing clown. When Beverly is in the sewer and he's dancing, the camera's
wicked.
Focused on his face, and his body's moving around, but his face is staying still. That scene is the worst for me. I hate that scene. It's so creepy.
It's wicked.
It is. And he's just like dancing and stuff, and it's just so... I hate that scene so much.
It's so freaky. I don't like that at all.
I want to talk about the deadlights in his mouth. How many kids has he done that to?
Oh, so many, right?
You could see him floating in the sky and stuff, but like, man, what they are is like he's a creature from a meteorite that landed on Earth in Derry, Maine. And that's where Pennywise came from, and the creatures of his species all have the deadlights.
Yeah. But
whenever a human sees the deadlights, they instantly turn insane. And that's why she, couldn't fight anymore, because the human mind can't handle looking directly at deadlights.
Yeah.
And it's just like so cool to actually see them in the movie, rather than just like reading the book and hearing it in your head what they look like.
But them actually showing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about Bowers. Not only killing his dad, but when he was trying to kill Mike.
Pennywise definitely takes advantage of his, like...
mental health.
Yes. His mental health and just how, like, evil he is, sort of.
Yeah. He's already, he was going to kill that cat.
Yeah.
He was going to target the cat.
That's another scene where I'm like, nope.
And then he's, like, cutting into the kid's stomach, and, like, he's doing all these awful things to the kids and everything. Like, he's already screwed up, and then you give him, like, the knife back, and you say, kill him. He probably already wanted his dad dead.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't very hard to get him to go and kill him.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is such a rough scene, too, to watch, because
especially,
it's like
when Pennywise is in the TV.
Yeah. And, like, it's such a creepy scene of the TV telling him, kill him, and stuff. And then, like, you see him kill him, and you're like, oh, good. But you're also like, oh, that kind of sucks, too, because now it turns him, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then he says, kill them all.
And then he goes, so there's a scene that people think is a goof. So when he kills his dad, he gets a little bit of blood on his face.
Yeah.
And then when he gets to the well, his face is, like, covered in blood, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So what they think is the goof is that the blood's inconsistent, but there's a deleted scene where he goes and kills his two friends. Those two kids that were following him around all the time.
Yeah.
He goes and kills them. And that's where all that blood comes from.
Oh, okay.
But there's that scene where he's fighting Mike when you thought Mike was going to die, but he hits him with the rock and pushes him down the well. Good. Don't care.
Nope.
He didn't need to be alive anymore.
Yeah, see ya.
But I don't like it because, it was a character who died, but, like, I also like the way he, like, fell down. It actually looked like he was falling down a well. You know what I mean? Because he, like, fell and he smacks off the side a couple times. You hear him scream the whole way. Like, that wasn't that bad of a filmed scene. That was a pretty cool scene.
I thought so too.
Well, that's all I have before the fear facts. You have anything you want to talk about?
I think we got it all.
So I have a couple fear facts here, and some of them are actually pretty interesting. So in the whole movie, for my first fear fact, in the whole movie, Pennywise only has 4 minutes of dialogue.
Wow. He's
in the movie, the whole movie.
But he only speaks
for 4 minutes. He only speaks for 4 minutes out of this, 2 hour.
That's all it takes.
And
that's all it fucking takes.
Exactly. And for the second one, much of Richie and Eddie's banter is improv.
Oh, wow.
Half of it wasn't even written. They just started saying stuff and they left it in the movie.
That's so funny.
It's hilarious. So for the next one, the teeth that Bill Skarsgård wore for Pennywise made him drool excessively. So the director said, okay, I love that. Use it.
Yeah.
And that's why you see him drool all the time.
Ew, that's like his actual drool.
That's his actual drool.
So funny.
And it kind of adds like an animalistic, ferocious type of factor to Pennywise. Rather than just trying to scare people, he's like actually hungry.
Yeah, to eat children.
Yeah, so it kind of adds that next.
Ew.
Yeah. This is the highest grossing Stephen King movie.
Okay.
Out of all the, because some of his movies, even though he didn't direct it specifically, some of them didn't do so well. Some did. Like The Shining.
Yeah.
Actually, Stephen King doesn't like The Shining very much.
I know.
He like half likes it, half dislikes it. But that was one of his better movie adaptations.
That was a
but
very
this is his best.
Popular movie.
Chapter 1 is his best.
I can see that. I really like this movie.
This is a very, very good movie. So Skarsgård actually did the smile.
Yeah.
He can actually smile, kind of like Jim Carrey with the Grinch.
Uh-huh.
The Grinch face was actually Jim Carrey making the face.
Uh-huh.
Skarsgård did that actual smile, and those were his real eyes.
Yep.
Of him like going cross-eyed in the opposite direction.
Yeah, I was gonna say not cross-eyed, but the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He actually can do that.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I thought that was interesting.
And I heard that the reason he figured out he could do the smile was him trying to scare his little brothers with it.
That's funny.
So he just...
Lol.
Yeah. Skarsgård was apparently very polite in between takes and always joking around with the kids to kind of make them not so scared.
Yeah. I heard he was very nice to
He was
the
extreme.
kids.
There's a lot of scenes where has to be extremely terrifying, but someone else recorded it and it showed him doing the scene like when he was running through the water at Georgie, and then as soon as they yelled cut, he was like, "Oh, you okay?" Like he was like making sure the kid was okay and everything. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine."
Yeah, I saw that too, especially with the chapter 2.
Yeah.
And the little girl. I saw a scene like that too.
He was always like hugging and high-fiving her and stuff just to make her not so scared. This film, chapter 1, is said to vastly exceed Stephen King's expectations.
Oh wow, that's
awesome.
So
he actually thinks that they did way better than he was expecting.
Oh wow.
Which is good because this is his best adaptation for sure.
I agree.
And I really like this book too, so
I have to read the book. It'll be hard, but
apparently during recording, Skarsgård sometimes spoke in Swedish. Which is kind of funny. I wish they would have left some of that in the movie, which would have been kind of funny. And for my final one, Stephen King wasn't actually prepared for how good it was. Because some of his movies, like I said earlier, kind of flopped in a way. Some of his movies weren't as good as like he wanted them to be or like how good he wrote them. But he said that this was, like I said in the last one, that this was way better than he actually intended it to be, or expected it to be. So that was my last fear fact. And what would you give this movie?
9 or 9.5.
I gave it a 9 out of 10. So I gave this a 9 because I really liked the way it was written. It was written of like appropriate comedic relief, very serious in some parts, extremely scary in a lot of parts too, because this wasn't like meant to be a serious movie. It wasn't meant to terrify you the whole time. I feel like it did really well on some of the points, comedic relief, serious moments and stuff like that. What do you think?
Yeah, I give it the same rating because I just really enjoy watching the movie. I also like the scary and the funny going hand in hand. And I didn't really like Pennywise until this movie. It gave me like another franchise, movie character to love.
Yeah.
Because, I love Ghostface and Michael Myers and all that, but I know I'm scared of Pennywise, but I really like chapter 1 and chapter 2.
Yeah, they were both very, very good.
Yeah, I really liked it, and I've seen the movie 100 times. I didn't even watch it before this, because I've seen it. I know exactly what happens.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is probably one of my favorite movies, even though he's just terrifying, but...
Absolutely. He is really scary. Both versions of him are very, very good. Tim Curry did an excellent job.
For me, he's scarier.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Because
he's a freak in that movie.
Yeah, he really is. But I feel like this is the better, well-written movie.
Yeah. I really liked it. For as scared as I am...
It seems like Tim was scary as Pennywise on his own, and that Skarsgård's Pennywise was scary by the situations.
Yeah, exactly.
Psychological fear versus physical fear. Tim was physically always present.
Yeah.
You looked at him, he was scary.
Yeah.
Skarsgård was like creating things around you that were scary.
Exactly.
Not to mention him shape-shifting into things that people were scared of. So
yeah.
That was scary.
That's scary. But yeah, I give it a high rating because
definitely higher than what it got, for sure.
It definitely changed my perspective on like it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Pennywise and all that. Like it made me like really, really like the movies again. Or
True.
You know, it's only the second one, but you know what I mean.
Well, do you have any closing statements you want to put out there yet?
Just that if I was ever face to face with Pennywise, I would die. Like, I wouldn't fight him, because yeah, I'm scared of you, bud. You got me. I'd be floating in that circle too.
Well, before we close out, we're going to read next week's question. Go ahead, sis.
This 1990 movie about an infestation of murderous spiders features John Goodman and Jeff Daniels.
So if you know the answer, put the answer in the Facebook post under this episode. And next week, we're going to be watching Sleepaway Camp.
Oh my god.
I can't wait to watch that again.
Oh
Such
god.
A messed
we'll
up
have
movie,
to get
but...
Adam to watch it with us.
Yeah, that's funny.
He loves that one.
Yeah, he really... He didn't know what he was in for. He didn't know what he was in for the first time I showed him.
We all watched that together, and it was... You know, we watched the whole thing, and then we got to the end, and we were all, like, looking at each other,
what
like, what the fuck?
No, it's a pretty good movie.
It's a good movie.
We'll catch you next week, and with Sleepaway Camp, don't forget to put the answer on Facebook, and we'll shout you out for the answer of last week, too.
Yep. Catch you later.
Bye.